The ability of digital technology to transform the physical environment is certainly a hot topic, and a complex one. Aurecon's recently released Our Digital Futures research helps to make sense of the landscape. It reveals the state of play for many organisations exploring the digital space. One of the major revelations to come from the data was the importance of having clear responsibility for and ownership of digital initiatives. Where organisations employ senior business leaders, such as a Chief Digital Officer, to oversee digital strategy, the opportunities to connect strategy, performance, revenue, and return on investment are much clearer. One such organisation, a pioneer in digital leadership, is Lendlease, and their Chief Executive Officer for Digital, Bill Rue. In his previous role at GE, he led its transformation into a digital industrial company, delivering a 2.5-fold increase in revenue from digital products and significantly improved productivity through digital programs. Now his focus is on helping Lendlease to be a leader in the digital space. Bill, thanks for joining me. You joined Lendlease in January 2019. Can you tell us a little bit about your role and how important your role is in achieving Lendlease's digital vision?
Well, I'm super excited to have joined Lendlease at this point in time. And so when you think about it, I'm really focused on three things. The first is related to digital leadership. Digital is not about IT. You know, everyone has IT, but it's really about what is the digital content of the products and services you're going to deliver to your customer. How are you going to make it better and change the world? The second thing is around digital focus. What are you going to do? What are you not going to do? You can't be everything to everyone. And then the last thing is really about digital execution, which really is then about having to change the way we go about developing these kinds of capabilities. Because even as a property company, we have to have software development, analytic, big data capabilities. So my focus is making sure we've got the right leadership, focus, and execution of this, and try to change the company around to be able to take advantage of this over the next decade.
Bill, before Lendlease made the decision to hire you, can you tell us what the digital landscape was like inside the firm?
Yeah, I think we were like everybody else in this industry. It's not a Lendlease, but an industry-wide sort of being state. And what that means is it was really an IT-driven environment, a lot of back office, infrastructure, capabilities for running your organization better. And we have a phenomenal IT organization, and they've done a fantastic job. What's changed, and I think this is true of every organization, is that now we're talking about using digital to really change how we do work. It's really a fourth industrial revolution that's happening today. So we're thinking about changing how we build, and we're thinking about changing what we build. And if you think about how we build, we're moving from an analog environment, probably driven a lot by paper and spreadsheets, into a digital twin environment, where we're going to use this AI machine learning to foundationally disrupt how we go about developing, designing, scheduling, constructing buildings. At the same time, we're seeing what is in building changing. We're moving to where we're providing greater experiences. And that is in the materials we use. We're seeing that change, additive manufacturing, robotics. We're also seeing changes in things like energy, microgrids versus the way we've done it before. We're seeing communications change. We're seeing logistics change. We're seeing all of these things change. And so the contents of buildings are going to change dramatically as we move forward. We're going to build better experiences in better places. And I think that's really what, when you talk about digital in the industry we're in, what's exciting is we're at the early stages of these two changes.
Yeah, and it's going to require people with different skills, isn't it? So can you tell us a little bit about the skills that you're going to expect people within Lendlease to develop? And then what are the new skills that you're going to be looking for to achieve some of these goals?
Yeah, so I think that this is important. I think, first of all, we're no longer thinking about what kind of internal capability we want, external. We're now thinking not project, product. So you've got to start with what is the product, the digital nature of that product you're going to be building. And what outcomes are those going to generate? I think is number one. Number two, so you've got a different kind of skill set even to think about requirements. The second thing is we're going to change how we do it. So it's agile, DevOps, continuous delivery. These are a different set of skills, and we've been traditionally been more of a waterfall. The third thing is you're moving into platforms to do development, and I think we're used to more vendor-based technologies and platforms, and so now we got to build on platforms, cloud, mobile first, because our people move around, and they have to be able to access it anywhere, anytime. You've got to scale on a global basis. So all of this is going to change how we build things.
Scale is so important in companies like ours, especially where we're very often project-based companies, moving from one site to another site, as you said, and people are very mobile. How do you intend to scale some of these initiatives? Because quite often they can occur in one part of the business and other parts of the business don't hear anything about it.
Yeah. Well, I intend to do two things. I intend to scale and unscale. If I start with the scale, that's why it's really about cloud first, mobile first, is the idea that you build it locally in one, say, region or business, and then you get it right. And then the mobile environment allows you to turn it on immediately. The cloud environment means you can make it available immediately. So I think the idea of moving cloud mobile first is about scaling. The unscale part of it is, how do you take work that your scale actually doesn't work? You have a linear scale. Work that requires you, say, to hire at a linear rate or to put resources in a linear rate. And how do you use AI, machine learning, and data to unscale it, where you no longer need that linear resource model, where the number of resources doesn't go up with the scaling and use of it. So I actually want to unscale things through machine learning, AI, and data.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. It's really interesting in an organisation like ours, where it's largely a professional services firm and it's people that we work with. And thinking about how you're using machine learning to do work and new types of work that you haven't done before is really super interesting.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think you could share with people watching is coming from an industrial firm and now a development firm. What are some of the lessons that you have learned along the way that you'd like to be able to share with other organisations as they embark on digital journeys?
Not everybody understands the aviation industry or the power industry, the property industry. There's a lot of nuance, and you know this. Not anybody can just say, oh, today I'm an expert at it. The domain knowledge matters, and domain knowledge in construction and building it's immense. Knowing how to work with certain materials and suppliers, these are things that most people don't understand. So what makes these worlds different is that you must be able to use the domain knowledge of your people effectively with digital. And so people aren't going away. We're going to put the power back into those people with the deep domain knowledge, with the trade skills, with everything else. They're going to actually continue to do what they're doing. What's going to happen, though, is we're going to use digital to make them safer. We're going to use digital to make them more productive. They're going to feel they have better insight than ever before. You put that in their hands, and I think actually we're going to be hiring more expertise than ever before and doing more. So that's what I think is happening with this, is what we're going to do is get rid of the busy work and all of the things that sit underneath them and make people more productive.
That's great. Thank you so much for your insights today, Bill. A fascinating glimpse into Lendlease's story of digital transition. It's clear that this is complex and the journey takes time. But looking across the landscape, there are a number of actions organisations can take now to overcome challenges. Be more efficient, work smarter, generate new revenue, and ultimately get ahead of the digital curve.